So welcome to Abnormal, the podcast for normal people who want to do abnormal things. I'm joined today by Maxime Barbier, co-founder and CEO of Timeleft, who is on a mission to solve loneliness in big cities. Maxime, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Have I got the mission right in that intro?
You have the name right, the mission right, so good job.
So I want to kick things off by, can you just explain to people what exactly Timeleft is doing and what it's aiming to achieve?
So Timeleft is doing exactly what you described, try to solve loneliness. We say one dinner at a time because we find a really cool way to connect people is by doing dinners with strangers. So we connect people by group of 6 into restaurants. Now all around the world, we are live in 325 cities, I believe. I lost track.
Wow.
But so it's every Wednesday. So when you're ready, you go on timeleft.com, you do a personality test, you book your seat, and then next Wednesday, you're going to receive an address of a restaurant. And you just have to show up.
Sounds like a bit of a dating app. I'm sure, I know it's not, but it does sound like a very like, abstract concept of a dating app.
No, you're right. To think this. Actually, the idea of Timeleft we launched 1.5 years ago. It was to be the completely opposite of dating apps. When I was traveling and when I was talking to people, they said the only way to meet new people is dating apps, and I was like, this is strange because if you're single, that's okay, but if you're not, that's not. And then we say, okay, what we don't like about dating apps, and we say, okay, the profile, judgment on appearances, swiping, time consuming, all this kind of thing. And so we remove all of that and we came with this idea of dinner with strangers. But yes, we have now 20,000 people. We're Wednesday today, so we have 20,000 persons going to hang out in 1,500 restaurants in the same night tonight. And so most of them are single. Most of them, I think, in the back of their head, hope, to find love. So, but that's okay.
That's such a cool concept. How did you did it hit you one day, this idea, or how did you sort of come up with this idea and concept?
No, it's a 4 years journey. So Timeleft, we created Timeleft in 2020 based on my own personal ventures. So I sold my last company in 2019, didn't know what to do with my life. And so I make a list of 100 dreams early 2020. I didn't know COVID gonna happen just 3 months after that. But then it took me 1 year to achieve most of my dream. And by doing this, I have the first idea of Timeleft. Actually, the name comes from there. What do you want to do with the time you get left? And then we create this idea of connecting people with the same dream. It was cool on paper, but the problem with that with dreams are usually too big and too vague, and people don't really have anything to say about it. And so we fail. Then we say, okay, maybe we can connect people with something to do in the city. It was great on the paper also, but the problem is like if you put a man and a woman together, the man will try to date the woman, so women didn't feel safe. So say, okay, let's try something else. Then we say, okay, maybe we can do groups of strangers doing something in the city. And it was hard to find something people like in common, and we just realized maybe the most easy things to do is to put them in a restaurant because everyone loves to eat. And so, it's kind of a 3 years of iteration, and this idea we launched 1 year ago is pivot number 4.
So the original idea was how much time you've got left on the planet. So kind of like dream matching, right? So pairing people up with dreams that they'd have similar. Is that right?
Yeah, it was kind of the idea. It was like you swipe dreams every day, and like if someone swiped the same dream as you, you have a match, and then you connect into the app. But the problem with this, like let's say, the match of the day, it's Max, and you say, oh cool, Max wants to climb the Kilimanjaro, and you say that was also my dream. And I'm like, do I really want to do that? It's kind of a dream. Do I want to do this with this guy? I don't know. Maybe not. So that was the big lesson back in the days. Like most of the time, people dream about something, but between the dreams and the actual commitment, there is a huge gap.
Massive. And it's true that I guess what your concept is now, your very successful concept in going for dinner with a group of people, that's way less of a commitment than climbing Kilimanjaro with a random person you don't know yet.
Yeah, and actually we changed the kind of the vision, because at the beginning my vision was to inspire people to go and achieve their dream. And I just realized it's too big, so we came like, maybe instead of inspiring people to do dreams, maybe we can inspire them to just go outside and meet new people. And then COVID happened, and then I just post-COVID, I just realized there is a huge loneliness into people's life, and I was okay. They're not gonna climb the Kilimanjaro, but maybe I can help them to feel less lonely. And we just switch a bit the vision of the product, and we came with this idea.
But what was there anything in particular during COVID or during that time that made you realize the loneliness problem in the world? Like what gave you that realization?
I would say two things. One is mine. So I felt pretty lonely on the last 5 years, maybe. I was surrounded by people, but still lonely by myself. I don't know if it makes sense. And the second is like in 2020 and 21, I traveled the world. And every time I was going in a city, I just felt this need of human connection from people. Looking for in real life, activities, in real life happening. Everyone say, oh, like, I'm tired of dating up. I'm tired of being on my phone all the time. So, I was like, okay, there's something happening. And now everyone talk about it for sure. But in 2021, I really felt this thing. And then that's why we start to say, okay, let's try to connect people. Actually, it's great. It's great. It's a great thing to do.
It's quite scary actually, because I think you've obviously onto a very successful concept, and you're relating to a lot of people around the world, because loneliness is a big problem, and especially in big cities. I personally live in Hong Kong at the moment. I'd say I'm very lucky because I came here to join a rugby team, to join a sports team. So immediately you land and you've got about 30 guys around you that want to be your friend and want to sort of show you around. And your chances are quite high that you're going to meet people there that you're going to be friends with, right? However, I've got a lot of friends now who aren't in the sports circles, my wife included. And she tells me her stories all the time of when she first moved here, how it was so difficult to meet people. So difficult, because if you're not immediately in that sports group, you don't always want to hang out with your colleagues. You do want to meet people outside of your work circle. And yeah, sometimes when you just go on a night out, or it's hard to meet friends, I suppose.
It's hard to meet friends, but also it's take time. So it takes time in both ways. It takes time to become friends. There is some study, or you say you need 50 hours with someone to go from strangers to a friendship. But there is also, it takes time to keep nurturing this relationship. So if you don't see your friend, once a week or every 2 weeks, then the friendship die. And so this is one thing. But then what I discovered is like the whole society play against you. I'll give you some examples. So 50 years ago or 100 years ago, you live close by your parents and your family. Now it's not the case. You go with the school with your friend, and you go in the same job or like the job next door, and so you can see them, right? You don't spend 2 hours on Instagram every day, and that was time people used to socialize. Now we're moving a lot. You're in Hong Kong, and I don't know why your family are, but I'm far away from my family. I make a good friend in Lisbon. I used to live in Lisbon like 2 years ago, and I moved back to Paris. So I lost this friend. I need to create a new friendship. So everything is moving a lot, and so it's making really more hard to keep this relationship. That's why the circle around us are drawing out, because it's hard, and so it's hard to make new friends, and it's also now maybe also hard to keep them.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there with something that I'm not struggling with at the moment, but something I'm going through. I'm not necessarily trying to meet new friends. I would always say yes and open to meeting new people, but I'm just trying to see my existing friends more. Everyone's schedule is all over the place. Everyone's hectic. Everyone's working, got their social lives, whatever. And especially in big cities, I struggle to actually lock in times with my current friends to see them. And sometimes that doesn't happen for like 2-3 weeks or a month. And I think those social interactions, well, for me at least, are like incredibly valuable.
Yeah. But so I don't know if you know the Robin Dunbar circle. It's how many friends we can nurture and have in our life. So basically, you can't have more than 150 acquaintances. Like if you bring new people in your life, it means some people need to go out. And why is that? Is because friendship need time. And so if you see your friends once a month, that's okay. But if suddenly your next meeting you missed up, and then you're going to see this person in 2 months or in 3 months, with time the friendship die, right? And also what he says is really interesting. He says when you find love, then you lose 2 friends. So basically, when you meet someone and he's a completely strangers, suddenly become your girlfriend, then you spend maybe 20 hours per week or 30 hours per week with this person. So basically, it's time you don't give back to your close friendship. But it makes sense if you think about it. And so, with your experience with Hong Kong, I can relate because I used to have the same in Lisbon and even in Paris. And I think every big city is the same. Is the big cities, sadly, are now designed to, isolate us in the sense of we are more busy than ever. We are more doing things than ever. We are more on our phone doing like this and this and this. And we don't take time to nurture this relationship. That's why we feel lonely, I believe. But it's hard, man. I feel you on that.
So the table you're talking about, you can't have more than 150 friends, right?
150
acquaintances. Okay.
It's like 5 close friends, 15 good friends, and 50 friends. So 50 friends is the max of friend you can have in your life, and it's based by science. The guy just made this huge discovery about the human brain, and they crush like so many data about it, and say you can't. And five really close friends, that's the max you can have. And in this five, that is your girlfriend. So if you have 5 close friends, and suddenly your girlfriend came in, then one of the guy will not be your bet, because what's going to happen is going to spend more time also with someone else whom, and he's going to maybe take another guy who's going to be, he was not a close friend, but a good friend. And because you don't spend time with your friend, he's going to
and they get demoted.
Yeah, and then he spent more time with the other guy, and so he moved from good friend to close friend with the other guy. You know what? Like, so it's kind of this movement.
I'm saying, like, were you ever on the social media Bebo? Back in the day, Bebo. It was like the original Facebook, I suppose, and you had to rank your top 20 friends on Bebo, and it was like the thing to do when I was at school. You'd come in, and if you went on people's top 20 friends, then you'd cry and you'd moan, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing like a hierarchy, like a league system of when your friends, you rank your friends, and then a girlfriend comes in and takes top spot, and then your friends get pissed off. What about when girlfriend becomes wife? Is that like 10 friends?
Yeah, but that's exactly. And also, like, when you have kids, like, when you have kids, it's a really important decision. And suddenly when you have kids, I don't know what's your age, but I'm 40, and I see a lot of friends of mine now, they start to have kids, and suddenly they disappear. Because again, more time into the babies, less time into the social life.
Is that them just being a bad friend?
No, it's not being a bad friend, but I give you another example. We went to a restaurant with my girlfriend on Sunday night, and the restaurant was completely empty. And I was like, cool, like, sad for the restaurant, but cool, we're gonna have our food fast. And then the food didn't come, and I was like, what's happening? And I see on the background of the restaurant, they are doing like delivery, like instantly delivery, like delivery. And I was like, why? Like maybe 20 years ago, this restaurant would be full of people going down, on Sunday night to try to get their food. But now you can deliver your food. So basically, you don't leave your home. So all this kind of thing just, make us more isolated from each other.
Yeah, I think every person out there can relate to those points of when your mate gets a girlfriend, then you don't see them nearly as much, and it's a hard day when your best friends start getting girlfriends. You're obviously happy for them, but you just see your best friends a lot less. I mean, I'm the guilty party, right? I had a girlfriend, now a wife, and we live together, and for sure we're way more isolated than when I was single. Like 100%. It's just science, right? You live together, you have your life together, you're trying to build your own family. It's just natural. But it's hard, right? In my opinion, I've got my time, my life is with my wife, right? That's my life. We're life partners. But for me, I need my lad time. I need my boy time. Like every week I need to see my inner circle. I need to get some coffee catch-ups or something with my friends.
Of course, but it's a trade-off. Like, you have 24 hours in the day, and so if you want to I don't know, work 8 hours per day, train 2 hours per day, and then spend 4 hours per day with your girlfriend, cool. But then you don't have many times.
That's
so it's
what
a
you're
trade-off.
doing.
Yeah, that's a trade-off. So I think the problem also is to be completely aware of like what's really important for you and how much you want to prioritize this in your life. If your wife is the most important thing and you want to give all the time you have, great. But then you can also complain like you don't spend time with your lad. But I believe we need a bit of both, and I think it's important to have a good balance. Yeah, that's why I see people are struggling with this, because they go only one dimension.
And so with Timeleft, then every Wednesday night you have the dinner on every Wednesday,
Yeah.
and then what's the end goal for people that turn up to these dinners?
So now we are in 65 countries. So we have like, we are in Hong Kong. We are in so many different kind of cultures. We have also people from 20 to 80 years old. My dad is 72 and he go every month to try to find new friends.
Amazing.
I did 62 dinners myself and I meet 400 people, I think. And I kind of now understand all why people are going to Timeleft dinner. So we have a big part of them who are just craving for human connection, man. They really just want to be with people and have a good time, and that's it. I met a girl, like she said, you know what? Like I wake up, I work remotely, I go on my Zoom call, I have lunch, I go back to my Zoom call, I watch Netflix, and I do it again and again and again and again. And then it's Friday night, I'm super sad and depressed. I talk with people on video, but that's not the same. And she says, so like when I do Time is great, I have this pop-up event in my week who give me a bit of joy. We have also like a lot of women, 68% of the participants are women, and they are the ones saying like, we are so tired of meeting guys on dating apps and stuff like that because it's risky, it's boring, like it's really not making the time and the effort we put in. We have people who say it's sad, but I don't have 5 friends to do a table of 6. And you're like, wow. And it's people need to understand that, like when I say that, people maybe picture this, I don't know, this really fat guy like alone and super depressed. No, it's like people like you and me. They say like, I move like exactly like yours. I moved to Hong Kong. I'm new in town. I'm with my wife. I don't know how to socialize. I don't do sport like you. And I'm like, I don't have any friend and I don't know how to make friends because I'm fucking 40 and I don't want to go in a bar and talk to strangers and stuff like that. So people lost the ability to make new friends.
Do you also think that because of the age we live in and the technology age, that it's become a bit more weird if people were to like come up to you and ask for a coffee in person? Because for me, if I'm using dating as an example, right? People now, again, I haven't been on dating apps in years, but people now would find it, well, in my opinion, if I were to go up to someone that I found attractive in a coffee shop and ask for their number or ask them if they'd want to go for coffee or just chat to them, I think people would find that more weird than if I met someone through a dating app now.
I don't know if you saw this graph who make a huge viral post. You know how much it was like the title was like, how do people meet? And you have like friend, work life, whatever, and then you have online, and online go like this. And I think now I think 85 or 90% of the couple are meet through dating apps and stuff like that. It's insane,
That's
right?
insane.
That's insane. And so if you think about it, it's like this dating app since what they are there since 10 years, 10, 15 years, we are using dating apps and stuff like that. So we train ourselves to use this app. And so now we lost the skill, we lost the muscle to go and say to a girl on the coffee shop, hey, hi, hello, I just saw you, you look interesting, blah, blah, blah. And so the example I give also is when you go to the elevators, I don't know if you remember. So you go into the elevators and you have people there. And if you say hi, people are like, like who the fuck are you? And I don't know if you notice that, but look like the next time you go to the elevators, as soon as someone go inside, they pick their phone right away, like this, like
Safety mechanism.
Safety mechanism. Because I don't want to look weird. I don't want to be bored. I don't want to have someone to talk to me. But then that's sad because that's an interesting spot to talk to people. Like, hey, which floor are you going? Like, which company are you working for? And so yeah, we lost that. It's sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, I think again, I don't want to draw the comparison too much on dating apps because I know you're not a dating app, and I do love the concept. But one thing that I do want to ask you about is the algorithm that you have. And because I know when you sign up to Timeleft, you do have to sort of go through these questions and put your interest in, similar to a dating app. But how does that sort of work? Like what criteria do you match people on in Timeleft?
Yeah. So we created our own algorithm 1 year ago now, and the goal was to help us to create all this group of six at scale. So as you know, tonight we have 20,000. So I'm not going to do that myself with an Excel. So we needed something more scalable. And then we ask ourselves, what's the best condition to have a nice dinner? And so at the beginning, we did a lot of tries. So first we said, okay, do we need 4 people, 6 people, or 8 people? 4 people is too intense, 8 people is too much. Six is a good number. Then we say, how many women and men do we need? And we just realized like 3 or 4 women, that's good. If you have like 5 guys and 1 woman, the woman will not feel safe. That's not good, whatever. Then we say, okay, how many extrovert? How many introvert? Do we put people who want to put politics together? Actually, no, because you say you love to talk even. No, because so you don't. So people who don't want to talk politics, you try to put them together because they don't want to talk about it. So that's great. And then we say, okay, but what about the people who want to talk about politics? And I was like, if they want to talk about politics, we can put them together. But we just realized you need to put people who want to talk politics if they have the same idea and the same, whatever, because
otherwise
it's
a
gonna,
nightmare.
yeah, it's the future. So we did this. We connected last year more than 500,000 people offline into restaurant. And at the end of the dinner, people can say who they like and who they don't like during this time. So we have this whole feedback loop. So now we can have this really cool algorithm who can do the best he can based on the people who want to attend, basically.
And then the people that attend these dinners, do they have an option to then connect with those people that they liked after the fact, or do they have to go up and get their numbers themselves on the night to connect?
No. So at the end of the dinner, they can give a feedback about the restaurant and the people in a sense like, did you like Pete? And Pete, did you like Max? If it's a yes, then we have a chat into the app because we discover like people are kind of shy actually to ask for numbers. But again,
especially
it's really
in front of other people, right?
Yes, and it was really weird also for like so funny. It was weird for like men situation and woman situation because if a man asks, like let's say I have this girl in front of me and she's really cool, she's really nice, and I'm in a relationship myself, but I would love to have a female friend, right? But if I ask her the number, she will say like, what's the intention of Max? I'm not clear, so nothing happened. And then the most funny one was me, man to man. Hey Pete, let's exchange number. You're like, okay, what do you want me to do? And yeah, and the saddest part, we discovered that's why we are launching a new feature soon is like, even if people exchange numbers, they struggle to meet again. They really struggle to meet again. Because you're going to say to me, hey, Max, do you like Read B? I'm saying, no, I don't. Oh, okay. Let's catch up for coffee on Saturday. No, sorry, I'm busy. Okay, Monday. No, you know what? I tell you back when I'm available. And then the thing go down. Yeah.
And okay, well, that's interesting. So at the moment, then, Timeleft is really a way for people to get human interaction, not necessarily to continue and build real friendships.
Yes. So this is really important point. So what we discover is like we built the easiest way to meet strangers. So if you do a Timeleft dinner, I'm going to put you 5 people. If you like Max at these dinners, you will not see Max because next week I'm going to put you 5 strangers and 5 strangers and 5 strangers. And so at one point, the users told us like, hey, Max, enough. I have enough strangers. on the 20 strangers I met, I make 4 good friends. I want to see these 5 guys or these 2 girls or whatever. But you said, as I said, we're struggling to see this because you need an excuse, you need time, whatever. And so the new version of Timeleft, which is going to go out next month, we're going to help you to see again this person. So when you're going to go to the next Timeleft dinner, you're going to be able to re-invite someone you already like in the past and say, Pete, I'm going to Timeleft next week. Do you want to be at the same table as me so we can have dinner number 2, dinner number 3, and then at one point we're going to be friends.
That's cool. That's a really cool feature because then people are blocking out that time anyway to have dinner. And if you're saying you need a certain number of hours in order to become friends, then you're just facilitating that process. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's it's a great. I'm definitely going to have to jump in on one in Hong Kong. And see what it's all about, and especially the restaurants are great here. So it's going to be. I'm sure they are in Paris as well. So I want to talk a bit about your journey, if you don't mind, Max, as well.
Yeah.
I know you've been This is your third venture, I think you said.
Yeah.
At what point did you sort of start being an entrepreneur? What's that journey look like for you?
I just turned 40 last month, and so I'm 22 years into entrepreneurial journey. I started when
Wow.
I was 18 in the hospitality and nightlife for 7 years. Then I did 10 years of media and content creation company. I built it. I built the last one from 0 to 100 employees. I sold it to the national team in 2019, and then time left now is 4 years. So yes, third ventures.
And do you think you were born an entrepreneur, or do you think anyone can become an
No, no,
entrepreneur?
no, zero. No, 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 no. No, no.
Why do you say that?
No, no, no. I don't think you become, I don't think you're born entrepreneur. I think you become entrepreneur because it's a skill. And so I don't think any baby just get born and then boom. Oh, this is a, it's like being an athlete. You're not born an athlete. You make yourself an athlete by doing the thing who's going to make you an athlete. So I truly believe entrepreneurship is like sport. You just train, and at the beginning you suck like everyone, and then only the people who keep trying and learning and think become good entrepreneur. But I don't think you're born a good entrepreneur. What I think though is that there is some people who are more lucky to become entrepreneur in a sense of, I don't know if you read this book called Outliners, and it
Yeah,
explains
I've seen it.
why
It's
Bill Gates
fantastic.
become, yeah. And so I think that's true. Like if you're born in a family with money, then you have access to whatever. And or like I don't know if your parents are entrepreneur, or like if you just become 18 when there is this Facebook revolution or internet revolution. That's way more helpful. But I don't think you're born entrepreneur. I think you become one.
And what was it about you when you were 18 that made you want to sort of take that step into entrepreneurship?
It's because I get kicked off from I tried to do a business school and they kicked me out after the first year, and so I was like, fuck this shit. And I was organizing some parties for students, and I was starting to become a bit of money, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna create my own little business and make my own money. It will be cool. My parents didn't like this at the beginning, but now they're okay. But yeah, I just started because yeah, I just started to make my own money, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pursue that. It make more sense for me.
I swear there's always one person at every university or college or business school that goes into the organization of the nightlife, and they that is their first entrepreneurial journeys.
Uh,
I remember the guy who did the exact same thing at my university, and it was like, oh, it was pretty cool. He's making money whilst at uni. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's an easy way to make money. But then after 7 years, when I was 25, I was completely sick of it because it's like crazy hours. You're drunk all the time. It's really tiring. And it's a really strange world, to be honest, the nightlife. Yeah,
Was that
really
in
strange world.
Paris?
Yeah, I was in Paris. Yeah, till 25. And then I was really tired about it. So I said, okay, I need to have a day job.
Wait, so you didn't go straight into, or did you go straight into your content creation media company after that?
Yes, end of 2020, well, 29, sorry. Facebook was started to be a thing in France, and people were like, wow, what is Facebook? How do you create a Facebook page? And I was like, I was using Facebook a lot to promote my own parties, and I was like, okay, I really know this tool, and so I created this community agency, early stage back in the days, and so I used to make money by helping people to set up Facebook page. And I know it look ridiculous now, but at the time you can charge people to create that.
That's
And I was doing
crazy.
some community management before it was a thing. And I did that. And in the meantime, I launched my media, my blog, who become my own company, was about providing positive news into the world. Because I was like, why we only talk about things who are bad? Can we just talk about positive things? So I created a positive media.
Sounds like the role of like having a purpose and doing good is quite a theme for you. If
Yes.
the blogs you're create or you used to create about positive media, and now with Time Left is all about connecting people and solving loneliness. Is that something you're consciously aware of, or is that just something that you're passionate about?
No, that's a good question. I think now when I look back, I can maybe say yes, but I just think I really like to do things I like to do. I don't know if it makes sense, but I did Timeleft because I needed it. I did this blog back in the days because I love to watch funny videos, and I was like, wow, we don't have a media only about funny videos. I think it makes sense, right? So I was just more following the thing I like and the thing I want for myself first.
This must be quite a good lesson in that, because I think a lot of people who listen are probably starting off on their journey or wanting to. I mean, myself included. One of the reasons why I started this podcast is so that I could talk to very interesting people and abnormal people and steal their ideas and thoughts and lessons so that I can help myself. So you're solving problems that you have yourself when you've started these companies.
Yes.
Is that sort of an advice you would give to other people out there?
I think it depends. I think the question is like, what kind of entrepreneur do you think you are? I know that I have some friends who are like really only interested by money, and they say, I want to make money. And so their view on the business is like, what is the most hype business in the moment who can help me to make as money quickly as possible? That's okay. Just, do you. Me, I have a different approach. I was like, I felt lonely when I was traveling, and I went home. I was like, my friends struggled to meet friends. I struggled to meet friends. I was like, I just want to solve that, and I pursue that. And I was like, okay. And then money came because it was a good things to do, and I was good on the execution. But it's two different approach. You know what I mean? And so I think the first question I will ask to people is like, what do you want? Do you want to make money? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to create something for yourself? Like, what's your end goal? And if it's about money, just do SaaS, B2B, AI, crypto.
All the buzzwords, any buzzword
All the
you can fit
buzzwords,
in.
put them in the pitch deck, go and fundraise and go all in. But that's okay. I think, just know what you want.
And what are the major lessons that you've learned from your first two companies that you've managed to implement in Timeleft?
Good question.
Or that you think maybe gave you a head start instead of starting from scratch?
I think the lesson, my last company was for 10 years, and at the beginning it was like this funny video website, and then we become this huge network of followers on social media, like 18 million followers.
Wow.
And then I lost my passion about it because I was like, what I am doing, I am trying to sell video views and taking time from people. And so a lesson for me was like, when I start this new business of Timeleft, I was like, do you think it makes sense? And do you think it's going to still make sense in 5 or 10 years? And I was like, okay. My last business was 100 employees, but only French people in a French building in Paris, like really like French. And so by exploring the world for 2 years, I wanted to do something more international. And so my goal was like, how can I do that? So I don't think it was really lesson at the time. I think it was just helping me a bit more to know what I want and what I don't want. I don't know if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes sense. I think like 10 years running a company you'll learn so many things that you probably don't even realize you're learning, that you've managed to implement, and they're second nature to you by now.
But I can give you some. So it's pivot number 4, and it's 4 years already in Timeleft. I can give you some advice, not some advice, but some learning I have on the last 4 years. I think.
Yes, please.
The one is like, it's not about having the best tech or the best product. I think it's about creating something who makes sense. So when we start with Timeleft, we raised 2 million at the beginning, and so we have a bunch of money to hire like tech people and project people and try to get like this amazing tech stack and whatever. Nothing was working at all. Zero. We make €0 in 3 years. And then this idea of Timeleft, the new one, we started in May 2023. We started with a Typeform and a WhatsApp. That's it. And a Stripe account to collect money. No tech, nothing. And we make more money in 1 month than we make in 3 years spending 2 million. So I truly believe now is not about how fancy you're going to be on the tech. I think when you have a great idea, everything is more easy. It's more easy to get people talking about it. It's more easy to make people pay. It's more easy to convince people to join the team. So everything is more easy. And I think you need to feel this. You need to feel like, am I like really against the wind, or do I have the wind on my back? And you can like when we switch the idea, you quickly see the wind just, and you're just like, wow, oh, it's so easy now. Everything is easy, and you can really feel it. So, but till you don't feel that, I think it's, you don't have to go too crazy on expenses. That's one of the big lessons I learned.
How much of that is the wind changing because you've got a good idea and you feel like you're onto something, versus knowing when to push through tough times and knowing when's the right time to stop and maybe pivot?
Yes. So my thinking on this is like, how much time do you got? In the sense of, if you, I coach a guy recently, and he quit his job and he said, I have 12 months of cash. I said, good, you have 12 months to make it. So if you take 6 months on one idea, you have 2 shots. If you take 3 months in one idea, you have like 4 shots to make it happen. So I think it's a balance of, yes, you need to push hard and, don't take no for answers and try and try and try, but be aware of like how much time you have, how much energy you have, how much money you have, because at one point you can push as much as you want, but if you need to go back to have a job to get, to pay your rent and food, for sure your business is going to struggle. So I think like the time of each iteration is really important. You don't have to be too small, but you don't have to be too long. And I think you need to be aware of that. And I see many of my friend entrepreneurs who sometimes they got so stubborn and they push and they push and they push. And you're like, hey, bro, we know it's not going to work. So, use your time and learning for something else. But I think it's one of the hardest things to do as an entrepreneur is to say, okay, my idea is a shit show and I need to crush it. No, that's really hard. That's really hard to do.
I mean, not just as an entrepreneur, right? Like in life, if you've like the ability to admit failure and admit defeat and that you're not right is one of those lifelong problems and deficits that we have as human beings. Admitting when you're wrong, like it's an ego thing, right? Your hands up. Yeah, I messed up. Like, can your ego take it? Can your ego take admitting that you were wrong?
Yeah.
Admitting that you failed.
The last discussion I have also is like also on hiring and firing. People put a lot of ego on the hiring. Like, oh, I hired this guy. I trust this guy. Yeah, but you can see he's not good. Yeah, let's give him 2 more months to see. And then it's 9 months. No, let's give him 2. Bro, you can feel it. It's not good. So just put your ego aside and it's okay. Just fire this guy, or like, this idea, you believe it's going to be a hit. It's not. Just, move on. But that's something I learned. Actually, go back to your question. That's something I learned on my last 2 business. Is like I failed so many times. Now I'm more comfortable to admit it's a fail.
I love that. I think it's, but people are so uncomfortable with failing, right? Me included. I think I'm lucky in a sense from my previous career was a professional athlete. So I failed very regularly. Every weekend, you're either succeeding or failing because you're either winning or losing. So you get in that habit of taking feedback and failing regularly and getting used to it. But it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. But, I know you're into fitness and I'm into fitness too. But if you think about it, every training is a failure. You just try to do something.
You train to failure. Yeah.
You train to fail, but you say, oh, I want to do a 10K under, 40 minutes. You go, you fail. You go, you fail, but you learn. You go, you fail. But that's okay. And we are okay with it. But that's the same in business. You want to do something, give you 2 months. But if at the end of the 2 months you're not there, then admit it's a fail. And that's okay, But people will say, but some idea, they are like almost at the end of failure and then they make it. Yes, there is exception for sure. But
there's exceptions to every rule, but it's good. Yeah. It's good holistic advice to follow. You mentioned there about your previous company and how you had 100 French people in Paris in one office, and now I assume that you don't have that at Timeleft. Can you talk to me about what your structure is? What your structure is now with your workforce?
So Timeleft last year was pretty insane because on the 1st of January last year it was only like 3 people in the team and 2 CT. And now we are in 325 cities and we are 70 full-time employees in the company. So we grew massively last year. So we hire like 1 person every 3 days on average.
Wow. Oh my God.
We're different with the last company. So we are only 25 in Paris and the rest is distributed because of the business. Now, we have someone in Hong Kong, by the way. I'm going to introduce you with Ashley. She's in Hong Kong. She works for Timeleft. She's great
Please
girl.
do. Please do.
And actually, she felt lonely also. She said, like, I work from Timeleft, I love it, but then, the whole company is in Paris and stuff like so. Anyway,
So
but
is she the only one in Hong Kong?
we have one person in Hong Kong, one person in Seoul, one person in Tokyo, one person in Sydney for the Asia Pacific. So there's this person, so she's in charge of the Hong Kong for Timeleft. And so every person we have in each time zone is in charge of a region, basically, to make it simple. But yeah, but we become like fully distributed, but now we started to hire more and more people in the HQ, to be honest.
And HQ's in Paris.
Yes, and that's why I moved back to
Is that
Paris.
because you're growing, you kind of just need to steady the ship and make sure the foundations are strong?
Yeah, that's part of it. I think remote has pros and cons for sure, and being all the time in office also. But I believe having my leaders, my direct report close to me in this kind of crazy phase we are in now, we need to iterate super fast and take a lot of decisions and stuff like that. I think it's great. And so all my leadership team now are there. They are in Paris.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're not French. They're not all of them French. It's not like, oh, I'm going back to this
Hey, I
French
love
only.
French people. My wife is French. I love French people.
Yeah, I'm French. I like them a bit, but yeah. But I think it's phase. Like I talk with my VC and they say, you go like super remote, and then you go super like centralization, and then you go back remote, and so it's a phase. It's phase.
Yeah, I see so much stuff online, especially on LinkedIn, about pros and cons of remote working and things. I think trust is a huge part of that, right? If you've earned the trust and your managers or CEO trusts you just on output, then maybe it will work. What are your thoughts?
But on that, I think it's like the same as like diet and fitness advice online. I think you read something on LinkedIn and the guy say remote is the best thing ever, like because of this and this and this. But it's depend on who you are, what's your stage, what's your business. It's so complicated to take an advice and just follow exactly the same, right? So it's the same with fitness, I don't know, maybe you saw that for sure. There's video of the guy say, oh, he tried to eat a breakfast, and he has this video say, oh, don't eat your cereal, and then he tried to do that, and don't do that, and don't do that, and at the end the guy just tried to just drink water, and the guy said, don't drink water. It's like,
I hate it. The information age. I'm listening to podcasts at the moment that are telling me not to eat eggs, and I'm like, I'm looking at my whole life thinking, I don't know anything these days. I don't know anything.
Exactly. So try everything yourself. Like if someone listens to us and he has a business and he think about going remote, he can just, it's managing the transition, managing expectation. And I think every like remote and office have the same pros and cons. Remote is not easy. Let's say it like this. It's not easy. It requires more hygiene, more habits, more structure, more like so many different things also.
Yeah, fair enough. I want to ask you a question about work-life balance. Do you have a work-life balance?
What is it? How do you define it? Let's say, what's your definition of work-life balance?
Oh, well, I was going to ask you that, but I'll try and answer it myself.
Let's see if we have the same definition first.
Okay. Well, for me, work-life balance, well, if this is different, right? If I'm working as an employee, I believe that there's a balance to be made where you can achieve a healthy work life and tick your career goals and progress whilst also not sacrificing any of your personal relationships and hobbies. However, I'm now going through something myself after recently quitting my job 2 months ago, where now it doesn't seem like there is a work-life balance because my work is seeping more and more into my life, which is my choice. I'm the one that's chosen that. And I'm not anti it. But I wanted to know from a founder's perspective what your opinion is.
So I don't really like the term work-life balance because it implies this work and life need to be balanced in a sense. You need to work as much as you enjoy your life. So I think it's more like a work-life flow. I don't know if it makes sense. Like, what is your actual flow? And my actual flow now is work, and a bit of life. But because I really enjoy what I'm doing and it gives me a lot of joy. I think it's my moment. I feel that this is my time. We are scaling. We are in the good position. So why, struggling with myself and, it has to be aligned and work needs to be 50-50. It's not what I want now. So I prefer talking about work-life flow. when I quit my job and I was not working in 2020, I was life, a bit of
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
and I was okay, you know. And so, and then if you don't like your work-life flow at the moment, it's because you're not aligned with the thing you want. And so fix it, right? But this whole thing about work-life balance and burnout and I don't know, it just everyone is different and I prefer to talk about flow than balance.
That makes sense. What's your advice to people then if they haven't found the thing that they're passionate about yet?
Uh, look look to the little thing you like to enjoy every day. What is the little thing you like to do? Do you like to read about this? Do you like this topic? Do you like to talk about that? Do you like to hang out with this? What is this little thing you like? And just dig a bit better. And also I believe it's more easy to look for stuff in life based on what you don't like more than one on the thing you like. So, make a list of all the things you don't like in life and don't think you want to do, and it's going to be a compass, and it's going to help you to navigate through the things. So, once people say, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur," I'm like, "Are you sure?" Like, let's see the thing you don't want. Oh, you want to have an amazing work-life balance? Good. So, like, okay, entrepreneur, you can remove it completely. But I think, yeah, look for the little thing you like to enjoy in your life, and I think it will put you on the direction of what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's good advice because, especially going into the new year, a lot of people will be doing a lot of reflection and thinking, myself included. And the more I talk to guys and girls who are in positions like yourself where it's obvious that you're passionate about what you're doing and you love what you're doing, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. And similarly, I've spoken to other founders or athletes that are really in the same position. It doesn't feel like work to them. And I think that's what
But
people want to get to. But
yeah, but
sometimes people are just lost.
let's be careful on one thing. So I will give you the analogy of the people we see on YouTube and stuff like that who have millions of followers, and you say, "Oh my God, he look like to exactly know what he's doing. He love it, and he's like whatever." Yeah, but that's a 10 years process. You seeing a guy who is already 10 years into the process. So when you talk to me, it's, "Oh, you look like to really love what you do. You're an entrepreneur. You're successful." That's 20 years into the process. So the thing people should pay attention is not what is not what Maxime is now. It's like what Maxime did 20 years ago
For
when he
sure.
was at the same point of my life. And so when you see this guy who have abs and are like super fit and are like, "Oh, he's doing this in the morning and he's doing that and he's training like this, so I should do that." No, 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 no. Look how he started. And I think the real problem is like people don't look at how people start, but what they are now. And it's a big difference, right? And so
Huge difference.
huge difference. So I will say pay attention to that.
Yeah, and another great point. I do think though that having that passion for what you're working on will get you through, or at least hold you in good stead through those difficult times, through those 20 years to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
You can't be looking at the final product and being like, "Well, this is what everyone does, right? You look at the final product, I want that," but they're not willing to do the work to get to where you are now. But
Yes,
having that
exactly.
level of passion and dedication helps a lot to get there.
Yeah. And also I want to add on this is if you want to be this or to get that, and there is a whole way to do it, but there is also many way to do it. So it's not because you pitch, you launch your podcast this way, me, I should follow your own step. It's just there is a way. The only thing people need to know is like there is a way, there is a path to go through. And so are you okay to go to make effort to go and learn and whatever, but every way can be different. There is no that's why we talk about LinkedIn and inspirational video on YouTube and all this kind of thing. That's great. It gives a bit of inspiration, but everyone is different. Everyone has their own way and everyone has their own time. People succeed in 1 year, people succeed in 20 years. That's the only thing I will say is like, as soon as you start, the better. So no matter what you decide to do,
For
do
sure.
it today, make one step, go and move forward.
I love that. I love that. That leads us on to the final few questions I've got for you, Maxime. One related to Timeleft. What's your end goal for Timeleft?
The end goal is to be, so of course, solving loneliness, but how we're going to do that, I think it's become more and more clear. I want to be this app you're going to use every day of your life because it is going to help you to take care of your social life.
Wow.
For now, we are first step, we bring new people into your life. Second step, we're going to help you to see the person you already like. And the third step will be, okay, we're going to take care also with your friend circle. Like, you want, like your case, you want to see your friends, we got you covered. It's something. So the end goal will be Timeleft will take care of your social life. And the thing I said to my friend, I would love is like Timeleft, never alone. You will never be alone. You know, like no matter who you are, like no matter where you are, Timeleft going to take care of your social life for you.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's a great idea. And I'm looking forward to step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Very much excited. So for you personally, Maxime, how would you as a person like to be remembered from other people that you have interactions with?
The first thing came to my mind is like, I don't give a fuck about how you remember.
That's a great answer.
No, it's like, I'm going to be dead, man. Like, you know,
Yeah, but what about the Timeleft, the 62 dinners that you've been to at Timeleft, the people that meet you at those dinners, how would you like them to remember their interaction with you?
I think they remember like a guy who like what he do and he has a lot of energy and he's really authentic and joyful. I think that's kind of the adjective I would love for people to have about me, you know, like authentic, joyful, and full of energy. Yeah, I think that would be the thing I would love to, if people say that.
And at these dinners, sorry, side noting here, do you ever tell them that you're the founder of the company?
Yes.
Or do you leave it undiscovered?
At the beginning, I was saying that, and I was like, it was completely changed the course of the dinner because they asked me like so many questions. So I say, okay, now I'm going to be incognito, and I have some
Wear
funny
a fake
moments.
mustache and
Yeah, with some hair.
Yeah.
No. So first, like most of them, they don't really know who I am, like physically. So I go incognito most of the time. At the end of the dinner, I say who I am, but at the really end, so I can avoid too many questions. But sometimes it's funny. I have 2 or 3 of them. She say like, "What do you?" I said, "No, I prefer not to say." "No, but tell me, what do you do?" "No, I prefer not to say." And then they become crazy. Are you like a porn star? Are you like a detective?
Or a
Or like, yeah, whatever. And I say, no, if I tell you who I am, it's going to change the course of the dinner. And they're like, no, come on. What do you think? We're not going to ask you any question. I was like, you're sure? Okay, I'm the founder of Timeleft. No way. So I have an idea. Why we don't change this thing into the house? Like, but it's cool. It's cool. I love it.
That's funny. I can only imagine the drama that would cause by you saying, I can't tell you. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, Maxime, final question that I ask everyone that comes on the podcast. The podcast is obviously called Abnormal. What would your one piece of advice for someone looking to do something abnormal in their lives? What would your one piece of advice be?
Wow, that's a good question. What do you mean abnormal? Is like something uncommon.
It's exactly what you're doing now. Something against the status quo. But it's all subjective. Someone's abnormal won't be starting a company. It could be running a marathon or something abnormal in their lives.
One of the mantra I love the most is there is nothing stronger than a little hope who don't give up. And my advice for the people who want to go into this journey is like, you just need to do one step. You don't know which step is going to be, cool, just find out, but just do one step. And then when you do one step, do another one. You want to, I love fitness because fitness, I think, is a great way for the brain to see what's happening and say, so 2 years ago, I did my first 100K run, so ultra trail, and it was like 12 hours of running. I was not a runner. And I wanted to do that because I want to know what it is to do that. I did an Ironman last year, also a great example. And I said, okay, 100K, that's good. I never run 50, okay? I never did a marathon, okay, 42. I never run 30. I was like, okay. I did 20 in my life, but it was a long time ago and it was really painful. And so I went into the process to say, okay, I want to be good at 10K. And that's why I started to run 10K. And I say, okay, 10K is great. I feel comfortable. Let's go to 15. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 30. Let's go to 42. And one day I wake up and I was like, I'm going to fucking do it. Today I'm ready. I'm going to do my 100K race by myself. And I run in Lisbon by myself from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And people say, oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah, but that's 5 months of doing one step after one step after one step. And It's easy to understand with running, for example. It's more hard to understand with business, but exactly the same. Maybe the first step is to subscribe to this podcast. Maybe the first step is to buy a book about whatever. Maybe the first step is say, I need to have an entrepreneur in my life, to find a guy who can befriend. Maybe the first step is to, what is the guy I inspire? Oh, this guy is really inspiring. Like, okay, first step is to, try to reach to this person. So there is small step along the way, but if you do all this step, I don't know when, but one day, I trust you, if you keep moving forwards, you're going to achieve what you want.
Fantastic. It's such a good message, because the things you mentioned there, some people won't even see them as steps maybe in their lives, like listening to a podcast, buying a book, reaching out to someone. For people, the first step might be setting up a business, but actually that's not the first step. There are many steps before that you can take, which makes that setting up of a business a lot easier to take when you finally get there. And that's just one example, right? That's just the example of being an entrepreneur. If the example is running 100K, it's getting up off the sofa and buying some running shoes. That's the first step.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I wanted to say. Like, if you're stuck to make the first step, because the first step is too big. And sometime you have to be. And again, it's about ego. Like, maybe the first step is not 10K, it's not 5. You need to just do one. And if you can't do one, just buy shoes. And if you can't just buy shoes, just put your... I was coaching a guy who was obese, and I tried to help him to do fitness. And for him, the first step was to put the sneakers on, watch the sneakers for 1 minute, and that's it. He couldn't do more than just put the sneakers on. And I said, now, okay, are you there? He said, okay, are you ready for the next step? He said, yeah, what is the next step? Put your sneakers on, go downstairs, go upstairs. No running. And then we moved from there. It was a long process. It was a long journey. But just to realize, like, it's going to be funny, but the smallest step possible. What is the smallest step possible? And sometimes, sorry for you guys, but the smallest step is ridiculous. And that's it. You have to go. But that's the only step you can do. So if you don't move, it's because you're aiming for too high.
I love that. Maxime, thank you for all the insights, and thank you for taking the time to come on. Super excited to see where this goes and the next releases, product launches of Timeleft.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, man. Loads of good lessons there, which I'm sure the listeners will absolutely love. And even if they don't, selfishly, I've loved it myself. So that's a big box ticked for me. Good. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Abnormal Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you are listening to on right now, as it really goes a long way to growing the show. Thank you, and see you in the next one.